talking about your diagram. Okay, so this is always, just now also got student ask how to give mark. Okay, this one you give marker root or root hash over here. So this one will be the marker root hash or marker root indicated correctly 1 mark. So this one will be the hash 1, 2, 3, hash 5, 6, 7. So this is a layer number. This particular layer concatenates the hash value from the layer 2. This is a layer 2. So correct another 1 mark. So from the hash 1, 2, hash 34, hash 56, hash 78. So this particular concatenate from the hash value from the layer 1. This is the layer 1, which will be the 1 mark. So from hash 1 until hash 8, which will be this one, hash value for each transaction indicated correctly is 1 mark. So your arrow, you can see the arrow pointing correctly at the top, which will be another 1 mark. So if you give wrong answer, let's say you give me transaction 1, or here say transaction, I need to minus mark because this is not transaction, this is a hash value. Okay? So after that you can see the like client request from the following information for the full note. You don't tell me how to explain what is the process and so on. I want you identify the information. That's why from the hash 8 until hash 8, hash 56, hash 1, 2, 3, 4, and also the marker root. That is a 4 mark for that. Okay? Okay. So you can see this one is based on your quality. Okay, even though here mentioned 4 mark, does not mean that you only write the 3 sentences, you can 4 mark. You must be explain the transparency, how to use transparency, security, efficiency, and traceability. You must be at least your explanations of this answer must be a 2 point from here. Okay, 2 points from here to explain how the blockchain can give advantage suitable from a supply chain management. Okay, so as you can see, under your part number 5 here, false, you need to mention about your proof of work. Why they are consume more energy, more power? Because of the need to run a complex mathematical puzzle. So for another proof of stake, they are lesser because of they do not need to do a puzzle and they are going to based on the cryptocurrency they are staked on to the to generate a new block and random select from that. Okay, so this is the part. Okay, so the last one over here, the 2 explanation over here, all talking about your digital signature. You need to have a digital signature, verify your digital signature. Okay, so this is the part. So I think I have done enough for your discussion for your midterm test already. So before I move on to the next, okay, before I move on to the next, I need to go and look for you do your own calculations how to convert back. I don't have the form. I look at the percentage. 74.29. This one is multiplied by 29. Okay, this is a 29. And then assignment is this one is 70. steady. Okay. If you wanted to count for the coursework mark, so this is I highlighted from here. So multiply by 29%. This one is added up is 100 mark from your coursework. Okay? Get me now? So it means that from here, let's say just now your friend is a calculator. So your friend is 28. 28 divided by 100 multiplied by 29%. So it means that in his hand, he has a 24, should be 25 mark. So how many marks that he need to score to pass your coursework? Your coursework is 50 marks to pass per 100. Okay, so pass your coursework. Okay, just now the figure is the entire final mark, so I choose just from here. Okay. Okay. 50. Okay. Yeah, can. And return to me, this is the two friends that absent. Huh? Or three? Then later on I will take a random place mark. So is it okay? So later on you need to return up. If you can you understand what I'm trying to write over here? Okay. You count your own mark, you count your own mark, and you go and estimate how many marks that you should score to pass your assignment. Okay. So because your coursework is only 70 marks. Okay, 70 marks. So that's why your test I'm using 70 divided by 20 because based on the syllabus, your test is only 20 marks. Your assignment is 50 marks. Your exam is 30 marks based on this number just now I mentioned. So in here we need to have 100%. These two values added up must be 100%. So that's why I wanted to using 20 divided by 70. Okay, multiplied by 10% actually is equivalent to 29%. So this one is equivalent to 71%. Okay, so the system will be like that based on this percentage. This one is calculate your final coursework mark. This one is calculate the entire final mark. Okay? So we are moving on. Is it okay? So you can take photo for your test paper. But anyhow, please make sure you go and calculate whether I got any casting error in the system or not. So then we need to move on to do our lab exercise number 8. Okay? Last week you already understand how to create a simple front-end design and also how from front-end design and do interactions with your back-end. So you know that we need to have the API and you know that we need to have this particular You know that we need to have this particular contract address. Okay, we need to have a contract address and also the ABI when we go and interact with the back end. And make sure you also need to have a correct connection. So if you can see the start, you need to do connection from the MetaMask first. Okay, after that you need to create a Web3. From Web3 you need to connect from the MetaMask to your contract. You need to use the Web3 to do connection. This is what you have learned on last week. Okay, last week already explained for this for you. Okay, let me take attendance first. Who absent now? Okay. This one who absent now? I go and take your absent. Right now? Because you return back to me, I forgot. Okay? Okay? So, whatever. Okay, return. Okay, can after you check, no problem, you can return. So I'm moving on your again. We go and do the exercise. So this week, what you need to have, please go to your Google Classroom. Okay, my dear, go to your Google Classroom, and you need to have this particular lab A Barrett resources inside this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4 files over here. So today we're going to learn how we go and deploy using transfer. Okay, we learned how to deploy using transfer. So last week you learned that I'm deployed using remix. Okay, last week you learned that my program, my source file is in a remix. So I deploy it using a Ganesh account. I'm connected to the Ganesh local blockchain. I retrieve the account and do testing. And then after that I deploy it, and you have the API and you have the contract address. You copy these two items from your remix over there and paste it into the front end. Then allow your front end to be able to interact with your back end contract. Okay, and you're using a Ganesh as a local blockchain. Okay, as your local blockchain to do testing, local blockchain test net to do testing. So today we're moving on to another level. So today we are not focused on how to design from the front end, but we need to understand using the transfer. Why we use transfer but not using a remix? Okay, for your assignment you wanted to use remix is fine. Okay, as long as you achieve the purpose, you can come from front end talk to your back end. Okay, so today we're coming to this particular topic. So remember, go to your Google Classroom, get the folder called Barrett.resources, and inside the folder, the zip file or 4 file, later on we need to use it. So today we are coming to this one called deploy. We need to do deploy in a transfer environment IDE over there instead of using a remix. Okay? Instead of using a remix. So how to create an entire project? Okay? So previously last time I told you, you have learned about transfer init this command to generate a default folder. To generate a default folder and the file, a default file needed to do compiling or deploying of your contract. Okay, and you have learned about using transfer compile this command in the previous exercise also. Okay, in the previous week's exercise. Then we need to learn about the environment. Okay, develop this command and then migrate and test. These are the few steps inside the transfer development and also the IDE. So you can see, go back to imagine on your last week. Last week you have your web application, your application. So we need to generate the object for the Web3, we are using the Web3 to do linking to our back end for our this node at our back end. So that's why that is a Web3. All the while previously we are mentioning our RPC port. So we are using the Ganesh. So the Ganesh RPC port is a 7545. Last week I asking you to change for that. Even though you open your Ganesh, the Ganesh also telling you the loopback address is 127.0.0.1, then column 7545. So RPC stands for remote procedure code. Okay, you go and Google, you look for this, you will able to see that RPC. Okay, it's almost similar to your we said about your port number. Okay, so RPC port. Okay, so that is called a remote procedure call, RPC, dynamic port number. Okay, so that one already fixed for that. Okay, for our local one, RPC. So this particular diagram are telling you that you have a node. Okay, so you have a node 1, node 2, and node 3, and so on. So you need to have. So you need to connecting with your JSON file and also your RPC. JSON file is your API, and also your RPC to talk to your program. Okay, your program and your backend. So first step, what we need to do over here is I don't go and asking you to create a better.so, because last time I already explaining to you our better.so is Michelle is a chairman. Michelle got a proposal, need to go and do voting, and then who will going I need to register as a voter. Okay, then voter can do voting and so on and so forth. That part of the better.so already. So assuming that's why under our this particular file over here, you already have a better.so. I don't asking you to create the backend code already. So today we just wanted to know how to deploy using the traffic, especially a migration and so on. So now modifier lah. So we have a modifier only owner lah. So that's why I'm checking who is the owner lah. Only owner can register for the voter lah. Only the owner can do proposal lah, and so on. Okay, so the program is there already. So now we need to learn about the process. So first thing, the command that you learn from the truffle is you using a truffle init. Okay, so you said that you are going to construct the directory. So you are going to create a directory, that the folder. So then you are going to initiate a various components of the DM using truffle init. So when you put truffle init, they will create a necessary component that needed to be for deploying your DM. So truffle init. After the truffle init, you need to create a contract.so file in a contract directory. So you need to go and create. So but actually we already created the so file already. We need to copy our so file, put at the correct folder. So from the correct folder we do a compile. We do truffle compile because we need to generate the API code. Okay? We need to generate the API code and make sure our code without error. So after this, the third step is called truffle divider. So if you can see, I mentioned about 797545. This particular RPC, you are using a Ganesh. Okay, it's a Ganesh RPC. So you are using Ganesh RPC, it means that inside you are using EOA account from this Ganesh. So when you're using truffle developer, actually you wanted to generate an account also. The account is using in a truffle. Got me now? Okay, so it means that you using the port number for this truffle is 9545. The RPC is 9545. So from there we do a testing for the truffle. Your truffle also will have the account, EOA account. So usually for the user, for the developer, for the programmer, we seldom using the account from the truffle, because the account from the truffle is a command line, okay, and they don't have a graphic and so on. Not like your Ganesh, you have a color, it's very clear, got a key, got a symbol there. So for the truffle, there are only a command line. The account is in the command prompt. Okay, it's in the command prompt. Okay, no GUI, no graphic user interface for you. So, but I'm going to tell you. Okay, for that also, we're going to proceed for that. After that, we have this one called add the test script. Actually, right, in terms of development of the D app, right, your assignment actually are missing one of the side, which will be the testing. Actually, your program need to be thoroughly tested by the tester, software tester, to ensure the quality of your software before you can move on for the deployment. Okay, so that's why over here, this particular truffle development IDE here, they also provide you a truffle test. You must be write your test script, only then you can do a testing. You don't need to concern about your front end design, the button and graphic and so on. You need to make sure your back end smart contract file is enough and make sure it's no error. And remember, under the tester software testing, they are do testing quality assurance for your software one. They will go to make sure that there are different group of people. The programmer is programmer, the tester is the tester. They are writing your testing based on your requirement. So that's why over here, the Node.js is served as a web server for the D app front end. So you have using the Node.js before. We are using the Node.js for the Express package. Last week you used the Express package to do for your Node.js. So MetaMask, last week you already learned before how to connect from front end using the MetaMask. So MetaMask link the block created by the truffle to manage your account and acting like the bridge, like the jump button, okay, between the application from front end and also the blockchain node that hosts the account. So this is the part. So we're moving on. First of all, we need to create a folder first. So after we create a folder, we create the empty folder. Then we go to the directory of that project folder. Then we're going to initiate a truffle image for that. So this one actually we have learned before last time. So that's why on the desktop over here, please everyone also do it. So we go and have the new folder. Let's say I said this is a child. Okay, ballot. Okay. So inside here is empty, no file. This is your entire DF folder. So inside no front end, no back end yet. So we copy. So you need to make sure what file should be put at what. So which file should be put at which folder. Only then your truffle can able to import your contract correctly according to the framework. We learned about the framework of the truffle. Okay. So we're going to copy for this. Then we come back to the command line cmd. Okay. Let me go and change the color first and the font size to ensure that you can see it. So that's why I'm going to CD, I'm going to navigate to my folder on my desktop over here. So after this, what I need to do here is, as you know, we need to create a travel image to ensure the necessary file need to be have it inside the folder. So if you're using the image, you don't need to have this kind of things. Okay? So you need to have a travel image. Travel image. So after you've done the travel image, okay, now check for your side. So after you do a travel image, from this, you should have this file over there. Okay, you have a contract. Okay, contract folder is .migration.so. That's why I want to tell you what does mean a migration.so for today. Okay, why we have this migration.so over here? What we need to do for this migration.so? Okay. So then they have a migration folder, and also here your migration folder already got one dash initial migration. What is the what? Why we need to have that file? So you need to understand for that. Okay. So then the next one will be a testing folder. This is a testing. Okay. So are you able to get it? Okay, so this folder is used to put in your test script. Do you have it? Got or don't have? Or you only got this git kit?
I have the migration.so. But I got it kit.
Yeah.
This sounds okay.
Don't worry. Okay? Don't worry. If it's at this child, why you have this file? Why you have this file? You're using the storage Wi-Fi, am I right? Anyone you don't have, mean that you can't see. Because our storage block your file. Okay? It don't allow you to download. Your desktop should be have, am I right? Desktop. If you're using your desktop, mean that you got right. Wi-Fi should be blocking. Wi-Fi block, am I right? Transfer migrate. Your transfer. Not yet. You go back to the command cmd. Go to your directory. Mean that you copy. Okay, if your PC, if your laptop does not install Truffle yet, okay, last time I have done asking you to do the installation. If you are not yet done any installation, you cannot do Truffle in this one. Anyone can or not? You also not yet. Access denied.我教你上这课，你给我看video。 install a truffle already. If your laptop did not install the truffle version, please, no matter how many times you go and initiate this truffle initial, you cannot work. Last time beginning in the week number 2, week 2 or week 3, I already explained to you the step. What are the software you need to be downloaded inside your laptop if you are doing your assignment by using your laptop. Okay, so this is you can see my PC over here should be have a truffle already. Okay, that's why I have a version. Can see when I key the truffle version, even though I have given a wrong command, so you can see the truffle version is given there. Okay, so if I'm given truffle version now, even though as word B, okay, maybe I key again, truffle dash version. Okay, so when I given a truffle version, you will get to tell me your development framework for Ethereum is truffle version 5.4.29. My one may be old, okay, but you should have it. Okay, and what kind of command that he can understand from the truffle. Okay, so you don't tell me that you don't install it and you're trying to issue the truffle image, definitely cannot. Okay, so if you can see, I give a space. If I put truffle dash version, got this one, he only telling me the truffle. What is the framework that I'm using now? Okay, my truffle version that I'm using now. If I'm going to use it and he's going to show you all the commands that need to be used, you can use in the truffle to call for certain things, to deploy the contract line, to refresh and so on. This is the command. So if you go to put truffle version without the dash one, without the dash, he's going to tell you the whole framework package. You're going to use it the truffle, he support the solidity, start from version 0.5.16. He can start from this version, and then your note and your web tree, you can see they already have the web tree there. Okay, this is what I mentioned. Okay, my dear, you must know what is your PC, whether your PC has been installed the necessary file or not. Okay, so I don't go and wasting my time. So to explain what software to be installed to run your file. So as you can see, when I go and asking you, go to your folder, go to your Google Classroom and go and download this lab number 8, ballot resources. Please do listening. So lab 8 ballot resources. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4 file. Four file that later on we need to use it. So over here is a child ballot. This is my project file. So when I'm using truffle image, okay, he will go and generate 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 things inside my project folder. And why we need to have this folder? Last time you have using truffle image before to generate these folders. Last time I'm going to given you. I'm using this truffle image and asking you to generate the folder. It's because I want to tell you, I wanted to compare, let you to see. Okay, when using truffle compile, the file generated for the API is different from the file, slightly different. The layout is different from the file in a remix. The API file in a remix. Slightly the arrangement, the order of the data inside the API is slightly different. That is the intention why last time I'm going to asking you to using truffle image. Okay, so I do not go and initiate the truffle image anymore already. No more, because my folder already there. Okay, so that's why I don't go and do truffle image anymore already. Yeah? So now we're moving on the next. Okay. Next part. Next part, what we need to do over here is we need to make sure our file is put at the correct folder. Okay? So put at the correct folder. So in this case, first of all, what are the files that I need to go and keep? So first thing, have a look over this side. Go back to your source file. First thing, copy your this parent.so. This source file, as you know, you go and copy, paste it on your project file, put under your contract folder. Okay? Paste it. So that's why when you are using the remix, if you think that I don't want to use the remix to do deployment, I want to use the transfer. So in this case, you download your source file from the remix, then put it inside the contract folder, contract subfolder, together with the migration.so. Okay? So the next thing is we need to go and copy this number 2. Got this one 2 dash deploy dash underscore contract, not dash one underscore. So I'm going to right click. You can see this is the JavaScript file. Why we need that? We copy first. We copy and paste it. Paste to where? We paste it onto the migration. Migration. Remember, the file name must be the same. You don't change the number. Here 1, here is 2. The number here are indicated the sequence and the order. Which file should we go and do process first? Okay? You need to make sure it's the deployed contract, this file name. Your transfer will look at this deployed underscore contract, this file name to do deployments of your source file. Inside is not your program, but this is a file, the JavaScript, and indicated how to deploy your source file in a contract folder and deploy it onto the transfer local blockchain under your transfer framework local blockchain. Okay? So next thing, here got transfer config. Last time this one is an old file. Sometimes you look at the sample, they have a 2 JavaScript called transfer, what is the transfer config. Okay? So the thing is, whether it's a transfer or transfer config, this particular file is not put inside any subfolder. This file is used to indicate how to do configuration for the transfer. So just now we mentioned our transfer is using the RPC port number 9545. So that's why this will be the one is mentioned over there. And we need to change on that. Okay? So we copy the file already. Moving on. Okay? So this is the thing. That's why over here I'm telling you contract folder. Okay, contain the Solidity source file, and then you have a migration.so. This migration.so is used to facilitate for the deployment. You no need to change anything inside the migration.so. Okay, you no need to change anything inside the migration.so because this is for facility for the deployment. You need to make sure your file, your source file, your source code source file is deployed inside the transfer local blockchain. So that's why it's a migration. You migrate your source file into the transfer local blockchain. So that's why next one is a migration folder. So you contact the migration script file. The transfer is using the migration system to handle the contract deployment. So the migration is an additional special small contract to keep track the change. So that's why you have this initial migration.js. You also no need to change anything. Okay? No need to change. Okay? So then you have a test folder. Just now I did mention this test folder is used to contain your test script. Test straight file. So that's why under this particular part over here, this is one of the test script. Writing in the JavaScript one, you copy and you paste it onto the folder called test script over here. And you were going to say, any child, just now I'm using my laptop, okay? I wanted to do a migration transfer initial. I only can see the .git kit, this particular file only, .git kit. And I didn't see what you mentioned just now, the migration.so file. I only see the .git kit, okay? So don't worry on that, because this is the things that wireless, I think is blocked, I think, because I do not, because this is a source file, it's a programming code. So wireless maybe got a firewall, something like that, okay, that have filtered your file. We don't want you to do downloading into your laptop, okay? So that's why he's using the git kit to refer back to the online resources, okay? That's the one. So whether it's refer back inside you have a git kit or you successful download from the migration.so is fine, because that file will not be affected to your deployment, because you are not going to change anything, okay, for that, okay? So when you are deploy it, you're using Truffle migration, they will go and look for the online resource, and he is going to execute from the online resource and help you to deploy your contract on your local blockchain. Okay? So now we are moving on. Okay? We're moving on the next part from here. So then just like I mentioned, either it's a truffle config.js or truffle.js, either one of these files actually is contain the truffle deployment configuration information. Truffle deployment configuration information. This is what I mentioned. We need to change the RPC. 9.5 become a 9.5 4.5. Okay, later on we move on. So first of all, we go and make sure we go and run our truffle compound. As you know, when we run our truffle compound, he will go and generate the API folder for. He will generate the file called API file, and he will create a new folder for us. So that's why over here we're moving on. Okay. After you have a truffle image, so copy the correct file into the correct folder. So the next thing is you go and have a truffle compile. So he will using his compiler and do comparing, and based on your source file, which solidity version you want, he will base on that. Okay. So in this case, he will go and compile for that. So that's why based on my source file, I'm mentioning my version of the solidity language that I need to be used. So even though you can see over this side, he can support your solidity start from 0.5.16. Okay? Due to your solidity file program code you mentioned is above 0.8.0, that's why he will go and execute based on your version, solidity version that you mentioned. Okay, so as you can see, he will go and compile your file. He's not only go and compile your parent.so, but he also go and compile your migration.so. So he will do a two compilation. So that's why under your folder over here, you will able to see that he will go to create another new folder called build folder. Inside this build folder, you have a contract inside here. This is the API. Okay? So this is the API. Okay? From this. Why we need to have this thing? So last week you learned about, I need to copy the API from the remix and paste it inside the index.html. That is a hard code your API in. Okay? So if you say that I'm using the truffle, you want to write a server script. Your front-end server script should be able to come to here to retrieve your API. Okay? You must go to the correct folder to retrieve your API from here. Okay, your server script at the top. Okay, your web server script should be come over here and retrieve your API instead of hard code copy and paste it inside your index.html. Okay, the proper way. So now we are moving on. Next one. So next one, okay, we need to come to do edit. We need to edit our this truffle config. Okay, we need to edit our truffle config. Okay, so that's how to edit over here. Which okay, over here I'm edit by using the command prompt or PowerShell. So it's using command prompt and PowerShell is quite hard to do edit now. Huh? So that's why I'm going to open my folder onto Visual Studio Code. Okay, I open in a Visual Studio Code. It's much more easy and convenient for me. Okay, I open, right click, open with the code from there. Even though I don't have the front end, so now I change the color, let you see clearly. So I'm going to crop, you can see that under the truffle config got so many lines, so many commands. He go and do description. Okay, he go and do description, describe what is this and so on. So truffle config, so I directly using truffle config, I don't use truffle.js anymore. So under this one, what I'm going to come over here is, you need to define your network. This is a truffle configuration network. So from here, you can see you have a model export. This is the part that we need to have. Your network module export. So we need to truffle test on my network. From here, what we need? We need from here. This one, remove up. Where you need to deploy your contract. As I said, we can deploy our contract onto the mainnet, onto the testnet, onto our local network, local blockchain network. So now we deploy on our local blockchain network. So 127.0.0 cannot be run away. So we need to have this port number. So we need to have this one. So you can see this is a 8545 based on the comments over here. It's telling you this is a standard Ethereum port default for none. But now I mentioned what? 9545. That is for truffle. So it's not 8. So that's why over here you will have this part called 9545. Yes, 9. Okay? You should put it as 9545. So you don't need to give any network ID. Network ID is different from the change ID. Change ID you set from the MetaMask. Okay? Network ID over here, you no need to give for here because we only got one local blockchain. Okay, so that's why here we no need to give any network ID. Okay, so we need to have this command also from here. Okay, we need to make sure turn on. So the message over here all taking it up. Okay, so then over here, so compiler already mentioning. Okay, no need to change anything. So make sure you save it because here still got a dark color bullet. So whatever I change, okay, will be over this side only, the network. You see. See that? So the one that I given to over here, the one that you saw under the resources over here, the one that you saw under the resources over here, if I right click, I open with the notepad on here, it's the same. Okay? It's the same. Okay? So this is a part I mentioned it just now. Okay? So Okay, so that's why I don't use this one. I don't copy this and overwrite. So I'm using this. I'm using the truffle from this side. From this side. Okay. So after you sieve it, first of all, we moving on. We go and do what? We have acted this deployed contract. Now looking at the deployed contract.js. Look at the deployed contract.js from your source file here. Under your migration folder, look at your deployed contract.js. So now this is a file that you need to edit. If you're going to change your program, my file called parent, can say now I'm going to use the RD file. This is what I mentioned. We are not hard code. We are using the artifact.require to refer to the parents for the ABI, our ABI, and put it inside this variable called parent. Okay. So then we have a module export. So we passing about our deployer over here, and we go and deploy the parent. So this parent is referred to this ABI. So we have the deployment from this part. Okay, our contract deployment. So now my contract called parent. So if you say that your program called Durant, so you need to change this file name to ensure that you can do a deployment. Okay? You need to change these two file names to ensure you can able to deploy your source file at your local blockchain. Okay? So this is, I wanted to open for you and let you see that this is a folder. This is the deployment contract. We need to change on that. Okay? So for another file, just now you saw the initial migration, because you need to have a migration. Just now under your contract, you have a migration.so. So the migration.so actually is helping you to migrate your file inside the truffle first. So that's why this thing you no need to change, because the migration.so is the default file name. Okay, but he also need to have this one. He need to do this, only then he can do the deployment. Okay, I know I did not give you a tolerant break. So now let us to run this truffle development. Okay, truffle develop. You issue this command is because of you need to have the address. You can see these are the tag address, your account address, and these are the private key. And this one is a mnemonic. Okay? Your last week, your friend telling me, oh, your Ganesh also got mnemonic. This is your secret recovery phase over there. Okay? So you cannot close this file. You cannot close this account. Why? Because you are defining you wanted to use 9545. Can see or not? Concept is the same. Your Ganesh also got this RPC. Ganesh got account and private key. Okay? It's 8545. Now you're using this. So later on you want to do deployment. You want to do deployment for your this particular contract. You need this account. You need to have first account to do testing. All the account here got 100 either one. All this account got 100 either. You also the same thing. You can copy this one into the MetaMask also. Not a problem. What you have learned on last week is the same. Just the framework is different. So don't close this one. Later on, we are need to open CMD again. We open another CMD. Okay? Because we need that file. We need that account. We cannot close because this one we cannot jump out. Okay, just like you do last week, you do remix, your Ganesh must be open. You cannot close your Ganesh because you open for your framework. Okay, you use the Ethereum. So that's why over here, I need to come back to this folder again. Over here. Okay, over here. and then I go and CD again. So I will open 2 command prompt. So after this, the next step I need to do is transfer migrate. migrate, migrate. You call the migration to do deployment. They don't call transfer deploy, yeah? It's called transfer migrate. Okay, so they compile your file. After compile, you will do migration. Take time, this is a migration. Okay, so I give you 5 minutes quick break. Go to washroom and come back. We will go to discuss this very fast. Okay, I'm going to tell you the migration has been done. Okay, actually I'm the one who want to go to washroom. Okay, not you. Okay, while waiting for me to come back, please return back your test paper. Let's all return back the test paper. Okay, so we quickly come to the continue. Still got a little bit from here. So based on the last week, you know that okay, using a remix seems like hard code, need to copy and paste from there. Addresses is so important. So now you can have a look at over this side. Okay, look at once you issue the command called transfer migration, what you're going to do. Okay, when you give the command called transfer migration, so first of all, he will go and compile your contract again, as usual. He will go and compile your contract again, compile your variable.saw and migration.saw again. After that, you can see that over here. He's starting to do migration. Okay, migration in here is called deployment. So the network name called development. So where is the development name here? Why you give this name? The name actually is under your just now, your truffle config here. Deployment. This is the name you give. You don't want to have a deployment, you give other name. Can see or not? Okay? So you mentioned that you wanted to deploy, you want to do migration to the network using this network name called deployment, and then they will consume. This is the network ID by default 5777. Okay, so the under here we do not define what is the network ID. We let him to use the any network by default name. Okay, so there is a 577. So 577. This one is not the change ID. Okay. Okay. So now we're moving on the block gas limit. This is the things that he set for it. Okay. So first of all, you can see he run. When come to the migration, first thing he will run your JavaScript from the initial migration. So he will first to do deployment from the migration.so. This is a migration.so, and he generate the transaction hash, and this is your block 0, your first block. Okay? And he will come into your address. This is the contract address. This is the contract address for your migration.so, which is already existing inside your folder there. And then the block number. Start from the block number, the timestamp. You can see if you go and copy this timestamp, the unit equal times, and paste it on the unit equal times in the website I mentioned to you, and it's a today time. Okay, it's the same as the today times. So then this is the account. You can see this account number D0DF3. This account are the account that I mentioned to you. He go and took the account from here. He took this one, the first account, D0DF3, as the owner account. Okay, as the owner account to deploy the contract. Okay, to do testing. So inside already got 100 either there for you to do testing. You no need to go and collect money to look for the money. So this is the balance. You can see this is the money inside this account, the balance. And he mentioned the gas fuel and the gas price. You can see the gas price is only 2G rate. Okay, so he set for that, and then he look at the price. Maybe today is 2G rate, tomorrow is another price. It's not hard code one based on the price over there. And he calculate you do not send any money. Okay, so that's a deployment, and this is the total cost for this migration. So he already saved your migration inside your change, and then he will save your artifact from this, and the total cost that it has been spent from the migration.so will be this money. Not finished yet. After the migration.js has been executed, then he will go and execute your another JavaScript file, which will be deployed contract. So from here he will go and deploy your parent.so. So from the parent.so you can see the same thing. He will go and have the hash function, and then he also generate the contract address. This is the contract address that you need to use from the front end to retrieve to call your backend code, to call your backend source file contract. And this is the account. You can see that he's using the same account again to deploy your contract. So at the end, he's going to tell you the summary. Summary is you already deployed 2 source files, and then you have these 2. This is the final cost for the 2 source files. You were going to say that, Michelle, why remix don't have? Okay? Because remix they don't tell you only. They still need to do migration one. Get me now? Remix is just focused on your back end, but this one is the entire framework. So that's why he's going to tell you you need to do migration first before you can go and deploy. Okay? So after done this, what is the next step that you need to do from here? So after deploy, so if you think that why I have a 2 commands over here. So let's say you have go and change your source file. You go back to your source file, you go and change something in your backend code, and you can directly using transfer migrate space dash reset again. You no need to go and create the transfer divided account again. Get me now? This account is open for you to do testing. Okay? So that's why over here you can deploy your contract. At this moment we still don't have the front end, as I said. Next week you will learn about from the web server prac. Last week you already learned. Last week create a simple one. Next week create a complicated one. So the complicated I don't teach you step by step. I just telling you how to link it back only. Okay? So this one is the thing that I want to let you know. The deployment by using our transfer. So the next thing is we go. Okay? We already deployed. Our program, our source file already in your private blockchain already. In our private blockchain. So that's why we go and do a testing. This is the things that most of the time during the assignment we miss this step. But actually this step is very important in a blockchain. We need to thoroughly check our source file backend code is without error, 0 bug. Okay? So that's why over here you need to write a script. Your assignment no need to write the test script. No need. Okay? But in the real implementations of your in your industry, you need to have a test script. That is a step you cannot miss out. Okay? So you need to come out a positive test and also the negative test. It means that you write the script is passing the input data into the back end using different input data, then see what is the expected result generated by your back end. Okay, so that's a test script over there. So that's why you have copy, just now I already told you to copy the test script inside your test folder, and you can see over here, we don't focus on that, okay, but you can open it, okay, you can open onto your file over here under your test script here, you can open your test.js over this side. So from here, the test.js file is first thing, he go and refer to your artifact, this is your front end, okay? He need to go to the folder, look for the artifact from this ballot.source. Okay? So he using the ballot, let ballot inside to refer to the entire of the program. So the same thing like if you are in the front end last week, you did learn that you need to do a deployment. Okay, the contract. Okay, this is a contract to do deployment for the contract. You have ballot.deploy. Okay? And look for the front end how to do the deployment, and then this is the testing. This is the using. Make sure you are using the account, the first account. So that's why over here is the contract. You refer to the account, function account. So then you are referring to the account by default, the account number 0 there. Okay? So that is a part. So and so on. I will go and read one by one for you over there. Why you have this 0.0x01? This is expected your result from your routine. This is an address from that. So that's the test script. We are not asking you to write a test script from your assignment, but I just telling you that is a test script from that. So then we go and issue the command over here. We're using transfer test. Okay? So transfer test, you will passing your test script, okay, and run again. Okay? You don't deploy anymore. You go and run your file, and based on the ballot.contract test script over there, this is a message that I'm passing. Okay? there is a message that I'm passing in, okay, to show the pass. If you think that I miss out, okay, how the test script is look like, okay, it's not my scope for cover from that, okay, but I tell you that it's a thing. So now you can see that after this, I purposely want you to delete. You see that? Go and edit your parent.saw contract folder and run your truffle test again. What I mean over here, I wanted to go and only owner, delete the only owner from the register function. Okay, let's say your saw file, under your saw file here, just now, your saw file is on the contract folder. Okay, this one is what we are learned. I asking you to write. Okay, so over here register, as I said, under the register function, only the owner can do the registration. Let's say you forgot. Let's say you make mistake. Remember, this is a programmer. Programmer write this program. The test script is write by another person. It's a tester. Test script is write by other person. He based on the requirement to write the testing. So based on the test script, he tests your program. So let's say your program did not test correctly, did not write correctly. I go and deleted this part. So I save it. Let's say your mistake inside your program. You have bug inside your program, right, in general. So then what I need to do, I come back over here. First of all, I cannot directly using a truffle test. You need to go and have truffle migrate. Okay, just now I mentioned the second round of testing, you should using truffle migrate space -- reset, because you need to deploy again for the ABI, because your ABI changed already, okay? So that's why you need to generate, okay? So you need to have a -- reset again. So after you reset, okay, -- reset, your ABI need to regenerate again. Then you need to migrate your file back to your re-migrate your file inside your local blockchain again. Okay, so you do this. After done the migration, now, so I don't focus the pricing and so on. So then I come to the truffle test again. So by over here, the programmer who are the tester who test your program will find out that there is an error inside your program. Your program does not write according to the requirement. You did not pass for this. Should not accept unauthorized registration. Okay? So the message over here actually is in your test script. But we are not focused on test script in our assignments. But please, important step. Okay? So this is the things that form up. You did not pass your program. Okay? Even though we are writing a simple saw file, by right should have a test script. Okay? Okay, so actually this all is extra knowledge for you. It's up to you, your assignment, whether using the remix, using truffle, okay, whether using a very front end, very basic HTML, CSS, JavaScript enough already, or you want to make it more complicated, you write a server script. If you have learned a web server script, then you can write a web server script. Doing the thing, I said that truffle is a one platform, one framework for you to deploy. You don't want to use truffle, you can use Hardhead. Okay? You don't want to use Hardhead, you wanted to do testnet over there in your assignment, then you need to using Symphonia testnet. I teach you before. But you need to go and get the money. Only you can do testing. So you are wasted your money. I mean that you wasted time to redeem money. Okay, to do testing. Okay? So that's all for today. Okay? So next week also in a truffle. Next week we come to this part. We go and import the entire. Next week our thing will be this one. Import our DX. Next week should be last already. Next week is week week 12 already. Week 13 is your presentations. I will give you the time slot in your group assignments over there. Okay? So next week is how to do demo only, not learning any new languages. Okay? How to do demo from the front end, how to put the Web3 injection. This one already learned. Okay? But it's on the server script. Okay? This is the part, all is the same. This one is the Su Negara one for donation, for sponsor, for the animals, okay, and so on. So I'm stopped over here, but next week actually not much thing to cover. Okay, so please go back and focus your assignment. 50 marks, 70 marks for your assignment. So do well for your assignment. That's all for today.